Hello and welcome back to the channel, and I just watched Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Our lives are not defined by any one action. Our lives are the sum of our choices.
Ethan Hunt and their IMF team continue their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity, which has infiltrated intelligence networks all over the globe, with the world's governments and the mysterious ghost from Ethan's past on their trail. Joined by new allies and armed with new means to shut the Entity down for good, Hunt is in a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever. That is what a user said on IMDb, because damn, I can barely follow these movies anymore. So yes, it appears that this is being considered the final installment in the Mission Impossible franchise, for now at least. I've never been a big Mission Impossible guy. I mean, I enjoy these movies alright for the most part, except for Mission Impossible Fallout. I absolutely love that film. It's also the one film where Henry Cavill isn't unbearable to watch. So beware if you're expecting a review from a mega Mission Impossible fan, you're not getting that here. Now, for the most part, these films seem to be very well accepted by critics, but for some reason, this one in particular is being very harshly criticized. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't understand why. Now, do I think the film is terrible? Absolutely not. For the most part, this movie is still a decent action movie, but the problem is that the movie does start very slow and kinda lame, if I'm being completely honest. It is one of those movies that starts out very rough at the beginning and just slowly but surely gets better as it goes on, because that first act is truly hard to get through. It is very unbearable, some of the dialogue that these motherfuckers have to say. It also doesn't help that this movie takes itself way too seriously. I get that it's being set up to be the final installment in the franchise, but goddamn, they don't need to go this far with all this drama and shit, because action movies, when they try to be dramatic and kind of profound, they just kind of end up falling flat on their face, and it's no exception for this one. They really try to tug at your heartstrings, and in some cases it kind of works, but in others it's like, okay bro, just stop. This is not working. This movie also has a villain problem, which is a clear lack of true villainous presence. I mean, you can make the argument that there's technically two villains, but one of them is an AI and the other human villain is barely in your movie, which makes it hard to even get attached to the conflict or the stakes of the movie. When one of your villains is barely a villain and the other villain is barely in your movie, it makes it hard for you to really engage in the story and engage in the overall conflict between the heroes and our supposed villains. This franchise is also known for having some tongue-in-cheek humor, and let me just say this, the comedy in this movie just doesn't work. It is so unbearably cringe. I cannot recall me laughing at a single scene in this entire movie. No, you know what? I am lying. There is one scene where I laughed hard, but I'm not counting it because I'm not pretty sure if the filmmakers intended it to be funny, so again, I'm not even gonna count it. But for the most part, the humor in the movie is just uninspiring. Most of the jokes are just jokes that you've seen in other spy movies, which is just like blech. Also, the heroes are very uninteresting as well, except for maybe two. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames are the only two characters in this movie that I truly enjoyed. To me, those two have always been the heart of this franchise, and it's always a treat to have them. Even if the comedy doesn't work, I still really enjoy their presence. But when it comes to the other characters, they're pretty bland for the most part. I mean, this new Grace character that was introduced in the last movie, what is her whole deal? I don't know what's her purpose in this movie. I mean, she does a couple of important things, especially by the end of the movie, but for the most part, I almost kind of forgot she was in this team. Oh my god, are they seriously doing this right now? Oh my fucking god. Jesus, why? There's also a couple of new characters in this movie, one which was introduced in the last movie, who's played by the actress, I can never pronounce her name, but she plays Mantis in the MCU. There's also a new guy that's introduced in this movie. Yeah. The only other somewhat decent character in this movie, aside from Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, is Tom Cruise as Ethan. And even then, he also has a bunch of moments that are kind of insufferable, where the entire movie he's set up to be a chosen one or the savior of the world to a certain extent. Goddamn, this is just so fucking stupid. So I'm here sitting, shitting on this movie, and you're probably thinking, wow, Diego must really hate this movie. But the reality is that I don't actually hate this movie, because this movie has one thing redeemable about it, and that is the action sequences, or the big set pieces. Almost all of these movies have amazing sequences, especially Fallout. I still think Fallout has the best ending sequence out of all these movies. But for the most part, all the movies have a set piece that makes them worthwhile watching on a big screen. They do some stuff underwater that is actually kind of cool and stressful at the same time. Also, the sequence that they show in the trailers where it's just Tom Cruise holding to dear life to this fucking plane. It's like, goddamn, this thing is insane and it's entertaining. It's fun. I just wish the movie just stopped trying to take itself so seriously and embrace the fun. But again, even though I have a lot of issues with the story and the characters and the overall pacing of the movie, that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. Like I said, the movie starts rough, but it does get better as it goes on. Though I still believe that this is probably one of the weaker ones in the franchise, if you ask me personally. To this day, I don't think anything is gonna surpass Fallout. To me, Mission Impossible Fallout is just incredible from beginning to end. And I was just kind of disappointed that this movie didn't really reach that level, especially for it being considered the last out of the franchise. So my rating for Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning is a 5 out of 10. A very middle of the road movie where I have issues with its plot, its characters, its dialogue, its comedy, but it does make up for it with some great action sequences, especially that plane sequence. That was really fucking cool. And I won't deny that there is a couple of emotional moments with some of the characters, specifically Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames. I think these two are truly the heart of this franchise, and without them, I think these movies would be less enjoyable. I'm just very disappointed that this movie decided to take itself way more seriously than it needed to.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
But thanks so much for watching. What do you think of Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or just kind of in the middle? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about it. And like always, good day, good night, and stay safe.